it had in the previous game, and it didn't seem to do that much, but it's still an absurdly strong pick. So you would expect the Kai'Sa to come on through. I wonder what else Weibo want. Do you go for a mid lane this early? I feel like you could get your priority pick in terms of jungle as well here if you want.
You can link it up with the Azir. You can also link up with a lot of junglers available. Wukong is still up for grabs, so perhaps they trade that over for the Rel priority where Alistar is still up and available. So RNG, they need to secure the Alistar on 3 if they really want to have a successful laning matchup for the bottom lane 2v2. But I wouldn't be surprised, lock in the Wukong. Next one is probably going to be the Aphelios, perhaps. But the biggest difference is that Azir is still up and available for Xiaohu to take, and I feel like Azir is a pretty good answer into Annie in terms of the laning phase, and it also matches the range and damage that Aphelios is expected to do in those team fights.
And Aphelios is going to come on through. And like you say, the Azir feels pretty good. It's also like a classic Xiaohu pick. It's something he's extremely comfortable on. Kind of the opposite of a Yone in almost every single way. But also massive range, both for Xiaohu, but also for Light. If he goes for the AP Kai'Sa build, right, they can kind of chill, sit back in these team fights, which is sort of the opposite of what we saw in the previous game. Let's see how these bans are going to go, though, because you could ban away things like the Alistar here. There you go. And try and set up for good lanes.
Yeah, the Alistar and Nautilus is going to get taken away by Weibo Gaming, but top lane is still up for grabs. Renekton and Jax still very much a thing for both TheShy and Breathe to take up, and that is the Poppy getting denied away. They're scared that Weiwei is going to lock that in for the jungle pick, and that's going to leave a lot of questions on what Weiwei is going to kind of secure himself in the 4-5, because we have so many jungle bans coming out. I mean, perhaps a champion like the Maokai or the Nocturne to really lock down on those side lanes. We're not too sure. But I've had a bit of a mixed opinion on Azir and Kai'Sa getting locked in together, because we often see the AP Kai'Sa getting locked in with Tristanas or the Jaces, where they spike extremely early on in the game. But if you compare her with the Azir, he only gets extremely fed and online at 16 with the Rabadons in his pockets as well, and that's pretty late in the game. And Kai'Sa also spikes around the same time, so their early game is pretty vulnerable.
Well, a Nocturne could certainly shore up the early game once you get to that level 6 mark. And Kai'Sa can kind of join in on the... I mean, we've got crazy amounts of dive on the side of Weibo right here, where Nocturne and Kai'Sa can both fly into the play, following up on a Rel engage, following up on a swoop and boot from Xiaohu. And RNG, what do they do to answer it? The Cassante comes out from Breathe, and I love it. I absolutely love this. Into a full dive composition, Renata Glass feels like the perfect answer.
It's been a while since we've seen the Renata Glass, and into Crisp potentially as well. Maybe they just default back to the Nautilus, where they are looking for a relatively strong 2v2 in the early game. Or even the Braum. I really like this Braum pick, because Weibo Gaming, I mean, Nocturne and Rel is going to really struggle to find the similar angles that they were able to work off from game 1. But the counter pick has been saved for TheShy. What is he going to pick? I mean, there's still a lot of great answers into this Cassante. However, I feel like it is just going to be the Gnar lock-in, potentially playing towards the side lane where he can pick up the... Okay, well, that's not the Hull Breaker, is it? Can we just lock in a champion, Shy?
Okay, here we go. It's going to be the Malphite locked in. Not necessarily what anyone was expecting, but hey, it's certainly good at diving with the team, isn't it? TheShy... Me rock, me go in is basically the mantra for him across the course of this one. And I think Weibo have basically looked at the composition of RNG and they've said, look, your damage is on Aphelios. We're just going to pick 5 champions that are really good at jumping at that Aphelios and trying to one-shot him. LvMao is going to have his work cut out trying to protect this AD carry.
Yeah, and you have been seeing kind of a preference between either the Malphite or the Ornn in that top side, but I feel like in this specific matchup, the Malphite does relatively ease out the 1v1 isolation. Up against Cassante, you deny a lot of that tower plate in the early game, and that's exactly what Breathe wants to look for through the Demolish. But like you said, shutting down LP and Tangyuan in these teamfights with the amount of gap closing that they have for Weibo Gaming in this game 3, but we already said this, they need items and they need the game to go relatively slow and even for the Azir and Kai'Sa to really come online.
They certainly do. Weibo going to be looking for a reasonably slow game if they can find it, especially post-6. The Nocturne just wants to be full clearing. So RNG, it'd be nice to see some presence out from the mid lane, out from the jungle. It's going to be difficult, though. The Annie can struggle in the lane against the Azir a little bit. He will get outranged. Feel like we might have quite a quiet early game on this one, but RNG did such a good job of tracking the enemy jungle across the course of the series so far. Feels like the early game all about jungle, all about vision. Let's see how game 3 is going to go down.
Munch, I just want to speak out on this. I feel like being an RNG fan is so rewarding, especially if you go to the live arena, because every single series has gone to 3. They get maximum value out of those tickets, and they get some of the spiciest games we've seen tonight.
I mean, honestly, if you bought tickets in Shanghai today, you get, what, 8 games? Like, it's going to be... I don't know what time it is in China right now. It's 3:30 in the UK, which we usually finish...
10 p.m.
Yeah, like, you've got serious value for money in Shanghai tonight if you are watching. LP spots out the invade, immediately gets on out of there. Light and Crisp won't find any kind of cheese to start us off. Here we go, though. Wei actually starting on the bottom side. We've pretty consistently seen junglers starting on the top side tonight, but Wei going to path up towards that Cassandre Malphite matchup.
Do like this from Wei because with that red buff in hand, he realistically can bully out Weiwei in his own respective jungle. But we'll have to wait and see. Also, congratulations to Weiwei for reaching 300 stage games in the LPL. And he's going to be playing the Nocturne for his 300th game. Flash from Chris.
Oh, all in on the bottom side here, but LvMao blocks all of it. That was a flash out from Crisp. At least he does have the Hex Flash, so not the end of the world, but really nice play. The Unbreakable, well, I say really nice play. He pressed E, but the Unbreakable gonna deny it. Actually, is it W or is it E? I think it's W, maybe. I can't remember, but the Unbreakable either way. Here we go. The shield comes up, and there's nothing more that can be done here. LvMao tanks it all.
You see how oppressive this matchup is for the Rel. I mean, Light on this Kai'Sa not managing to get any orders off as a follow-up to Crisp's engage, but we'll have to wait and see because the Braum does have its own issues in these team fights where it is a little bit, I would say, awkward in terms of positioning as you don't really have that much of a escapability compared to Weibo Gaming's composition, but you know, it is what it is. I do want to say though, the Hex Flash getting burnt instantly, or the Flash getting burnt out of Crisp instantly, and LP not budging a bit and not getting a single summoner spell does stop a lot of the gank angle that way we could potentially look for in the bottom side.
I love this out from Light. Gets a cheater recall off, crashes the third wave, gets to recall Crisp, protects him from LvMao's Q as well. So Light will be able to get back into lane, will be pretty much even in CS, and essentially gets a free cull for the rest of the laning phase, realizing after those couple of trades at level 1 that they're not going to be able to find kill threat, they're not going to be fighting that much, so getting some value out of his lane. Really nice bit of smart macro play in the laning phase from Light.
And we just saw a glimpse of the mid lane matchup as well. Xiaohu completely out of mana as we have the Annie slightly winning out in the early game before Xiaohu reaches that lost chapter if he decides to go that way. Is he going to look for a gank angle into his old mid laner?
It would be fun to see, but I don't know if they can really go for a level 4 dive. That feels tough. As Weiwei, he's going to be spotted on the ward here, and it does mean he just has to back on out. He'll keep himself alive. Keep himself alive. He's like full health, but he'll be able to walk away. Just a little tap from LP. Is this wave will crash in? But look at this. Look how many minions are there. And Light is here to farm all of them. Has that cull in pocket. He's going to have a pretty sizable CS lead for himself, assuming he does manage to get most of these CS.
I like how we're like, yeah, he gets the entire wave and instantly misses out on a melee minion. I'm not here to call AD carries out, of course, but we expect both junglers to be having a lot of priority towards the bottom 4v4. Cassandre versus Malphite, we've seen this a billion times. The reason why you pick Malphite into the Cassandre is because the Cassandre can never find solo kills onto you with the all-out as you just dash away with your own ultimate over the wall, and you will be more than happy with how this matchup is going to play out. But, you know, Wei is being as aggressive as ever, and he wants to kind of spot out Weiwei in his own jungle and look for those individual leads, but so far, so good.
Yep, so far, so good for them. I just love that, you know, TheShy gets solo killed in the previous game, and then instantly, head coach Danny is like, okay, Malphite duty. No longer do you get to play fun champions, you have to play Malphite now. You were solo killed, this is your reward. RNG, though, they'll be able to get themselves an early Drake. Good presence from them here. Wait, starting this one off, and Crisp is in the area, so is Light. It feels like they want to contest. Ooh, it's a valiant effort from Light. The timing was decent, but won't be able to find anything. The smite comes through from Wei, as that's a level 6 versus a level 5, and TheShy forced to flash. Flashed after him, though, and TheShy has an opportunity to trade it back if the dive comes on him, but Wei moving into the bottom lane. Wei's already here. This is getting messy.
That top lane got so scary because we saw that TheShy was still sitting on that level 5, but luckily for him, he leveled up after he flashed over the wall and received some of that experience from the minions under tower. But Breathe, so aggressive on this K'Sante, taking advantage of that all out.
And I love that we're seeing Breathe doing... Oh, I think weiwei got the smite there, actually. Managed to steal the chickens. He'll walk away with his life as well. And a Scuttle Crab as well. Little bonus on top of that, but... like, Breathe has been so aggressive in this matchup. I love that he's going toe-to-toe with TheShy. He's taking him on every single mistake that TheShy makes. He is there to punish that. He is there to look for kills. Got the solo kill in the previous game. And living up to the reputation that he's built for himself.
Yeah. I mean, coming into tonight's series, I kind of said how Breathe, he was relatively on the lay low in terms of laning phase, and he really shines through those huge 5v5s set up by either Tangyuan or Wei, and that's where he really gets those insane Ornn ultimates or even Jack's counter-strike stuns onto the enemy team. But this time around, he is feeling confident as ever into TheShy. But, you know, it could go either way. I feel like both of these top laners have been on and off in their most recent weeks. But this series, Weibo Gaming, they need to win this up against RNG. And RNG, they want to stop that as much as possible because they're competing for 6th spot.
Oh, good dash by Xiaohu. The shield protects him from most of the damage there. Tangyuan can use the ultimate to try and find that mid-prio that we see so often from the Annie. But crucially, Azir can still kind of contest prio anyway. Using those sand soldiers, he can contest the wave from quite a distance. As long as he commits a little bit of mana, shouldn't get pushed under too hard. I say that, he's been fully pushed under.
It should be relatively fine. With the Rift Herald spawning in 10 seconds, we do have the jungle and mid lane of RNG hovering towards his bottom side, so I'm wondering if they want to give over the Rift Herald to weiwei because they have no vision set up for this whatsoever. Bit of a strange decision to say the least, because I feel like it's pretty hard unless Wei gets into one of the lane bushes and catches Light or Crisp off guard, but they still have both summoners available.
Yeah, they certainly do. Tries to make something happen on the bottom side. Light is alone here as Crisp moves over. I think he spotted those players. Ward in the tri-brush as LP is alone. Wei and LvMao now definitely spotted. There's no two ways about it. As they go for a blue buff instead. Wave should be able to be cleared as Herald has been taken. And really not a lot in response from RNG. Yes, a blue buff, but really, is that worth tower plates? I'm not so sure. Just going to be slammed instantly in the mid lane here by weiwei. I was kind of expecting them to, you know, try and set up a dive with the Nocturnal. Oh no, he's just going to use the Nocturnal in the 1v1. Gets the fear as well. Cyclone going to do nothing for Wei. Flashed over by weiwei. They want this kill and they'll find it. First blood as Weibo have entered the server once more.
And it wasn't just the Rift Herald and the plates into weiwei's pockets. It's also another Wei, and he gets first blood. I don't know if RNG, they were a little bit lost. They were trying to find angles through the bottom side, but we mentioned how they do have the summoners available in both the Kai'Sa and the Rel, so it kind of just feels like Weibo Gaming, they come out on top without getting punished whatsoever.
They spot him on the wall, and I love the trigger pull here. They're just like, yep, he's got no one near him. Just go for it. Charges on it, knows that he's got the 1v1. Like, absolutely fantastic stuff. And the whole gang from Weibo is on board. You can see, obviously, Xiaohu flies on over, but the Void Seeker is there as well from Light. Like, the whole gang is ready to jump in on the play.
And it's kind of like a dominoes effect because you see weiwei instantly pulling the trigger with the Nocturne ultimate, but also utilizing how Xiaohu had huge wave priority in the mid lane with the Rift Herald getting dropped, so Tangyuan couldn't really clear that and moved to the play first all out from Breathe.
Shy
Look at
going to
the
use
Shy
his flash.
ult.
Actually, his ult is on cooldown before this play, so I'm not sure what had happened previously, but now his flash going to be on cooldown as well as Breathe is handedly having the advantage in this matchup. So far, so good. And there we go. That's the replay in the bottom right of the ult being forced out from TheShy. It's weiwei now trying to move into the bottom side. Paranoia not available. And we all know Nocturne can struggle to make these ganks happen without his ult.
So far, so good though. Weibo Gaming. I mean, we talked about how they have a relic. Oh, the flash from Tangyuan.
Flash for flash in the mid lane, or flash for slide in the mid lane. Xiaohu uses his ult, Tangyuan answers with a flash. Xiaohu still has his flash up. As LvMao might be caught here. Crisp weiwei just hitting away onto it. Light flies over the wall here. LP finds himself alone. He's gone in the wrong direction, and it will go down. Can't find the kill onto Light. LvMao so low, and here comes the paranoia. Over the wall goes Xiaohu to finish that one off. It's an absolute massacre on the bottom side of the map. Cyclone onto 3. Breathe is here as well. Can they turn it around? RNG with absolute heroics, but it's a triple kill for weiwei as Crisp has just walked under the tower for some reason. Weiwei goes down. Breathe with 2. What did I just watch?
It was a 3 for 3, and somehow, some way, Breathe makes his way towards the bottom side and collects 2 kills for himself. He utilizes the reset timer where TheShy, I mean, he has also reset as well, but he walked back into lane. We honestly thought that was such a great team fight coming out of Weibo Gaming, but they never expected the K'Sante to show up.
Yeah, Breathe, absolute heroics, but I need to see a replay. Did I just miss something, or did Crisp just walk underneath the tower for some reason? Tangyuan loses half his health to TheShy, who is proxying waves at this point. He's still 20 CS down, but RNG off the back of this fight will grab themselves a Drake. And I'm hoping we get a replay after this Drake to kind of regain control of the chaos that's happening.
Yeah, everyone got their hands onto LvMao for this from completely caught out of the position. We see Breathe making his way towards bottom side because this fight took so long. Honestly, the Void Seeker not hitting LvMao here was so big because that bought more time for RNG to really scramble up as a team. But, you know, it really felt like Weibo Gaming, they were going to come out on top, getting 3 kills into their pockets, but they overcommit. But to be fair, who would expected Breathe to flash over from the wall? Crisp thought he could get out, I think. Maybe he didn't take any damage from the enemy team, but I don't know about that way. As Breathe, I mean, this K'Sante is going to be a huge problem in the side lane now.
Maybe his horse got scared. Maybe that was it. You know, Crisp's horse was so afraid of the action. You know, it's like the musical War Horse or whatever that one's called. I don't know. Anyway, 2,000 gold lead, almost 3, in favor of Weibo. And Breathe with some absolute heroics. He solo killed TheShy in the previous game. He's looking fantastic on the K'Sante. Now 2-0-1. He needs to have a phenomenal game here to have a chance because, I mean, weiwei 4-1-1 on this Nocturne is terrifyingly huge. There's the AP Kaiser that's going to be online. Xiaohu being a part of a lot of these kills as well. The Azir is going to be terrifying later on into the game. So we need to see RNG staying on that front foot. They need to find some way to shut down Weight. There's still 300 gold up for grabs for anyone that can take down that Nocturne.
You also have to consider the fact that with this team fight getting kind of salvaged by this K'Sante roam, I thought that was just the winning team fight or the winning play for Weibo Gaming. They shouldn't be finding leads like this through Azir and Kai'Sa at this stage of the game because they don't offer as much damage compared to someone like Tangyuan and LP. But we'll have to wait and see because Rift Herald is spawning in 18 seconds. Wards is set up by the side of Weibo Gaming. We know that LvMao, you need to be with your AD carry and not getting caught out of position if you want to look for a successful 5v5.
They gotta try and protect LP. He's got a stopwatch and a Gale Force. He knows that he's the target. He knows he's got to try and survive for as long as he can. Just pushed in here. Light and Xiaohu working together to gain priority in the mid lane. The static shift will pretty much do that by itself, let's be honest. As Weibo control a river, Herald is up onto the map, but they're not willing to start it off just yet.
My eyes are going to be on how Xiaohu is going to be able to use his Sand Soldiers to really push away the initial engage of Wei and Breathe, of course. But TheShy looking for a reset. He needs his Mythic as well, but it's going to be too late. LP's going to shred this.
He certainly is. TP is available for TheShy, as he has gone for that reset. 5k on the Herald. The tier 1 taken in the mid lane. TheShy's TP back in. He's looking for LP. Jumps onto that backside. He's on his own for now as the Herald has gone down. Crisp flashing away here. The Sand Soldiers are doing a lot. There's a lot of shurikens though with the Cyclone onto Crisp. Now with the engage, LP the target on the opposite side of the play, and LP will fall. Light jumps into the backside, but actually LP's still alive. Shurima shuffle onto everybody. It's absolute carnage as TheShy chases out Tangyuan, but Tibbers saves the day. Tibbers is cut down. The 6th man dropped from RNG, and somehow RNG are on top. Light now the target, flashes away. His Breathe tries to chase him down as well, but he's taken out of the picture. Light finds the auto. Wei and LvMao running for their lives, but the Sand Soldiers arrive. The Emperor is on the scene. Tangyuan's TP back in, but he can't find a way to fight.
RNG, they commit to the fight again while they walked away with a 2-1 trade. They had 2 more people fall down. They disrespected Xiaohu on this Azir. And man really showed up in that team fight. Like you said, 4-man Azir ultimate. This fight was just purely Xiaohu being the main carry as we have the lights off. Tangyuan had a fantastic flank angle on this Annie, not spotted out by the side of Weibo Gaming, but I feel like no one really cared about Weiwei, and then TheShy landed a double ultimate onto the carries of RNG, and Xiaohu with the Shurima shuffle of 5 just completes the team fight with the amount of damage he applies. But RNG, they could have walked away with the fight being like this with the Rift Herald in hand as well. But for some reason and in some world, they go and look again. But Weibo Gaming playing with the space, they needed this fight to go their way.
And Light getting that shutdown as well. 500 gold extra into his pocket. Getting close to a second item on that Kai'Sa. Light is going to become a monster to deal with. This will be 3rd Drake for RNG though, if they can find it. But TheShy, he knows he's tanky. He knows that they can't bully him at this point. Breathe moving forwards, but will be poked out by the rest of the gang here from Weibo. Honeyfruit will keep TheShy topped up for now. Breathe just being slowly but surely poked away.
Light has the static shiv available as well, so that's mid priority going over towards the side of Weibo Gaming. But you have vision control set up for them as well. Look at the deep wards that they have available on the map. They have complete knowledge of how RNG is going to position in this fight, and LP doesn't have the flash to get away from TheShy.
LvMao with Unbreakable on cooldown, that could be dangerous. Breathe has to step forward. He needs to be the initial engage. Crisp looking for a chance over the wall as LvMao has to back away. 3k on the Drake here. RNG want it, but is it worth your lives? They've decided that it's not. They back away. They realize this is not their fight.
It's only 3rd Dragon as they made the correct call. No flash available on the Ophelos meant instant death. Crisp had such an amazing angle on the wall as well, but at the end it's just vision setup. You see complete control towards his bottom side, and now they're just gonna look to pull that vision towards the top side as the Baron is spawning in 1 minute and 20 seconds.
Crisp has spotted all of the recalls
Crisp?
by himself, and ultimates come out. Crisp is gone. That's the 2nd time in this series that Crisp solo face checks an Annie and just gets 1 shot.
That's not the only person face checking.
Answer comes out. Wei has been found as Breathe suddenly alone underneath this tower. LP trying to get over there to protect his top laner. It's usually the other way around. All out onto TheShy. Has to use his ult defensively, and the Moonlight Vigil won't land. RNG keep Breathe alive.
Is so scrappy. Unnecessary deaths coming out of both Wei and Crisp, but still, you see Weibo Gaming, they're going to use this reset time and then start planting down the vision towards that top side now. But LvMao, they want to stop this back. Oh, TheShy blocking that. Really nice. What?
Oh, no. LvMao, my guy. Oh, that's a tough one. That is a tough one. It's just a shame that we caught it on camera. My eyes have gone through a lot today. It has to be said. I'll give them a break after this one. RNG, though, keeping themselves competitive, but still 4 and a bit thousand gold down. At least this tower will be able to close that gold gap ever so slightly. But Weibo, definite favorites at this point because so much of that gold is on the carries as well. Crisp keeps himself shielded. Second item online for both Light and Xiaohu, both of them with an Ashes Tooth.
And once again, you see the ward placed on the blue buff allows for weiwei to really look for those stragglers when they do rotate towards these major objectives. So RNG, they need to walk as a 5-man unit. Not going to be able to spot out that singular ward at the back, but I still feel like, I mean, LP, he has the Gale Force, he has the Flash, but he has to wait so long for all the abilities to come out before he can really walk up in confidence to start challenging Xiaohu in this 5v5.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one to get into these fights. That's the thing, there's so much front-loaded damage on both of these compositions that if you do misstep, unless you're like Breathe or TheShy, basically, if you misstep, you're going to get one shot. So it's a really tough one when you start to lose ground, because look at the way that this vision line is being pushed forwards by Weibo, slowly but surely suffocating RNG out. There is no vision in the area except for that one ward just outside of the pit. You can see it on the minimap. They still have Baron vision for now.
Guys, Kai'Sa is so ridiculously OP. I don't know how to rate this champion anymore. It can go AD, it can go AP. It does just as much damage on either build, and it outranges everything in the AD pool right now. How do you counter this, Riot?
Now, it's a tough one to play against, but LP, I mean, Aphelios does plenty of damage in the right fight. If they can find the right fight, that's the tough thing. I will say, it's quite a slow skill shot. It's pretty dodgeable if you can see it coming. Breathe, face checks in, takes a bit of a chunk. The Leandri's now online for Xiaohu as well. He's TP back into the play, and remember, Azir so fast at dealing with the Baron. Should the situation arise. Spotted out by a ward from LvMao this time. LvMao takes a little tap, but Weibo nervous to commit to anything at the time, as it's a minute until Drake comes up onto the map as well.
6 zombie wards towards the top side. 4 control wards placed down by Weibo Gaming. The map is entirely dark for RNG to walk into, and how does Tangyuan even manage to find a flank if under these circumstances?
They found the players of RNG in the jungle here. LvMao with the Unbreakable keeps himself alive, and he got a ward down that's not spotted by a control ward. That's a huge play from LvMao to get vision of the Baron area and get out with his life. Paranoia on cooldown too, but Breathe might have stepped too far. They've overstepped it. They thought that the recalls were coming on through. Weibo still committing to the area. They're going nowhere just yet, and TheShy is ready. Fingers hovering over his R key. But mid-prio fought for by LP. Baron starts now by Weibo, but there's ward in the pit. They know that this is happening. TP being channeled. Here we go. Breathe wants to get into the action. Chris pushes him against the wall, pulled back against the team, and now taken down. RNG might have found their moment. Flash from Light to keep himself safe. TheShy still in the midst of everyone here. Weibo holding onto a lot of ultimates.
Cutthroat decision-making from the RNG squad, and they deny the Baron attempt from Weibo Gaming, instantly locking down Crisp as well. But that does mean Breathe no longer has the TP available, so Weibo Gaming can look for the attempt again.
Tangyuan's been caught, but weiwei has been the one caught after all. He flashes out safety, but flashed after by LP. The Gale Force comes on through. Moonlight Vigil onto 2. They'd love to get onto Xiaohu here. TheShy trying to protect his mid laner. Light enters the fray as well, as these fights will just never end. They're endless. Weibo wanting to battle on. Wei blocks it with a clone, but not giving up on the dragon just yet.
Oh, Tangyuan, he's gonna hold over!
Oh! He's been assassinated! Light finds the Annie. RNG, they've started the Baron off with a TP now from TheShy. He's moving in. He's finished his Jack show. The W's landing from Light. TheShy wants to get into the action here. No ultimate available for him. Way the target's Unbreakable's going to block a lot of the damage. Empress to corral them into the pit. Xiaohu saves the day for Weibo, and Wei is going nowhere. TheShy finishes the job as Weibo maintain control with an ace.
What a explosive experience for this game 3. Xiaohu on this Azir is single-handedly bringing this game back into Weibo Gaming's control as they get both the Baron and the Dragon. It all started off with Weiwei committing the ultimate to single out this Annie, but they weren't aware that there were 3 more people behind Tangyuan, and they completely turn on this. Oh, that was the other ultimate as it kills Tangyuan off as that pick, but you see everyone grouped up into the Baron pit. LvMao's shield honestly blocked so much damage, but the amount of ultimates stacked up here was just absolutely insane. They had the smite, but they didn't even commit to the Baron because they just didn't have enough time to finish it off. And I feel like this fight, it was a desperation play coming out of RNG.
Absolutely insane ultimate from Xiaohu as well. All 4 hit, and it was as Wei was dashing towards them to try and get his Cyclone off. Forces the flash out away as well. Phenomenal stuff. I mean, Baron pit, that is Azir's bread and butter. He loves to fight around Baron, and boy, did he get it. Light as well, 4, 0, and 6. 10 stacks on a Dark Seal on this Kai'Sa. He is firing on all cylinders. And at this point, oh no, LvMao. This is not the place you want to face check. Okay, Blast Cone gets himself out to safety. That felt a little dicey for a second there as Breathe trying to defend in the bottom side, but against this Baron, not sure he can stick around here. Tower should be going down any second now as TheShy could be caught by Wei, but again, like it's an 8,000 gold lead. I'm not sure that this is a fight RNG can really take.
And Weiwei's also working in the midway here. Xiaohu, he needs the Void Staff very soon, but I'm assuming the game's gonna end before there because Light is completely online on the Kai'Sa now. That's shield gone from LvMao.
Certainly is, but that's a knockback onto Xiaohu. Maybe a moment here. Empress Divide to knock them towards Light. The exhaust comes on through to deny the AD carry damage. Can they finish the job? Light is still alive here, and in the meantime, Weiwei is looking for an opportunity. Paranoia is available right here. Weibo, 4 players. They could still look for something.
Breathe is having a fantastic series on this Cassante. The Flash Q3 instantly locks down Xiaohu, who didn't have his own Flash available, and they managed to scrap back into the game. This was the game kind of saving play because they were going to slowly suffocate through the macro play that Weibo Gaming was going to go through in mid lane and bottom. But you also have LvMao living on 1 HP because Tangyuan had his shield on the Braum as well. So they trade 1 for 0 and they deny so much time from this Baron.
Yeah, absolute heroics from Breathe there. And I will say, if RNG come back in this one, Breathe is the MVP no matter what, because taking out Xiaohu there has pretty much protected the inhibitor. As Baron now times out on the map. I thought there was going to be a follow-up from Weibo. I thought they were going to commit to a 4v5, but deciding in the end that they weren't feeling confident on the Paranoia, on Light using his ultimate to get back in, they decided against it. Didn't want to give away bounties, potentially throw away their lead. Still 8,000 in their favor, so the 1 pick onto Xiaohu, as heroic as it was from Breathe, it is still very much Weibo in control.
This game is still very much anyone's to take because if you look at the items that Light has decided to take, it's the Medjais for 4th. So if Weibo Gaming make 1 mistake, if this Kai'Sa dies once, RNG can just explode the game out of control. As LP, he also picks up a Mole and he has a bit of lifesteal now up against the Azir and Kai'Sa, but still, Dragon Soul point for either of these teams. The vision is completely under Chris' control. Although this Rel has been getting caught here and there, I feel like the vision is just contributing so much for Weibo when it comes to macro.
Yeah, it really is. For Weibo, like you say, vision dominance, denying everything from RNG. It's impossible for them to walk in. And remember, this is the fight for 6th seed. If Weibo can win this one, they will deny RNG the opportunity to contest them. This is Weibo fighting for their spot, fighting for round 2 of playoffs instead of having to play that first best of 5. And with a roster like this, when you came into the year looking like a team that should be a top team, you want them to be making it to top 6. You want them to be living up to that expectation.
It's been a crazy year so far for Weibo Gaming. They want to prove themselves once again with the opportunity of starting in that 6th position for the summer playoffs. But honestly, Breathe is doing everything in his might to stop that from happening on this Cassante. As the game is now approaching 30 minutes, we have absolute no wards towards any objectives, but that's also Baron in 40 seconds.
Baron in 40 seconds, but Dragon's up in 10. And Weibo, they've denied all vision of the area from RNG, and RNG can't even threaten a trade onto the Baron instead. LP is up in the top side of the map. They are giving up this Drake, guaranteed. It's going to be Soul Point now for Weibo, and not to mention, it's an Infernal Soul. 3 Infernal Drakes. On this is it, and you thought the Kaiser was doing damage with the W's before. 10 stack, Medjai's finished off, and 1 Dragon away from the Infernal Soul. Those W's are going to one-shot Squishies.
And I'm looking at Tangyuan being a potential victim to that poke, but we'll have to wait and see because I feel like the final 5v5 is going to determine the outcome of this game. Still could go either ways, but Wei only being level 13, his smite isn't going to be as strong compared to Weiwei when it does come to a 50-50 flip. But honestly, this Azir has also been a huge highlight in why Weibo Gaming is in such a lead and come back into this game, honestly, before this whole mid-game happened.
Xiaohu has been an absolute beast in game number 3 today. He was not a beast in game number 2, that's for sure. Yeah, going back to comfort for him, and I'm glad that he has. I'm glad that he has, because the Yone was not it. Baron is back up onto the map though, and once again, Weibo with vision control. It does feel like they're nervous to pull the trigger on any plays though. Like, they have had a massive gold lead for the last 10 minutes. And now they have to test it. They have to see if they can win these fights. Breathe TP's in, TheShy the target here. Can they actually follow up onto this one? Stacking up the concussive blows, but TheShy's not even lost his shield just yet. Still has that ultimate available. And now Xiaohu's damage is starting to do wonders. Flashed on once again, but the Zhonya's comes in. TheShy sets it up, but Light, exhausted, has to use the Zhonya's, and Xiaohu is back on the action. Xiaohu, the Emperor in more ways than one. Wei chased down as the last remaining bastion of hope, but eradicated as Weibo will secure themselves top 6 in the LPL.
An intense final game to finish off the series up against RNG, but Light and Xiaohu have been playing out their minds, and even TheShy getting a 3-man ultimate on this Malphite. They are insane when given the circumstances, and they are going to be comfortably sitting in that 6th position now with RNG out of the conversation.
Phenomenal game here from Weibo. Game number 1 and game number 3, like, this is the team that we've all been wanting. Game number 2 we won't talk about. Game number 2, let's just not mention it for a little while, but wow, Weibo, fantastic team fighting. Xiaohu, like every single fight, the